The sun hadn't risen yet, but the crew was already out, reflective jackets flashing in the orange glow of street lamps. Snowplows rumbled down the avenue while others salted icy sidewalks, patched potholes, or cleared storm drains before rush hour began. These were municipal works crews, the often invisible workforce that keeps cities running. But what happens when the very tasks that support public safety put the workers themselves at risk? In 2022, a municipal worker in a small town in Ontario was struck by a vehicle while repairing a streetlight. The truck's aero board had malfunctioned and the traffic cones weren't placed far enough upstream to provide adequate warning. The driver who hit him later said she didn't even realize it was a work zone until it was too late. The incident led to a fractured pelvis, a long recovery, and renewed questions about visibility and communication on municipal job sites. From road crews to sanitation, water treatment to parks maintenance, municipal operations span a vast range of environments and tasks, each with its own risks. But what connects them all is unpredictability: weather, traffic, public interaction, equipment failure. And that's where safety observations become not just helpful, but essential. Let's dig into the world of municipal works crews and what to watch for when routine public service meets real-world risk. In Boston, a Parks and Recreation employee was using a chainsaw to clear storm-damaged branches after a nor'easter. The tree had twisted in the wind, creating unexpected tension. As he made his cut, the branch sprang back and struck him in the face. He was wearing gloves and chaps, but no face shield, and no one on site had flagged the need for it. The injury required facial reconstruction. An after-action review revealed that crews often felt pressured to just get it done when storms disrupted city infrastructure. Weather response is one of the most dangerous aspects of municipal work. From ice storms to heat waves, natural events demand fast action, but often under unsafe conditions. In Houston, a sanitation worker collapsed during summer waste collection after temperatures reached over 40 degrees Celsius. The crew had no formal break schedule, and air-conditioned rest areas were too far from the route. Observations about heat stress symptoms had been made before: workers with headaches, nausea, or confusion, but no structured system existed to report them in real time. The incident resulted in hospitalization and spurred a pilot program using wearable heat monitors. In Oslo, a city maintenance worker performing sewer inspections fell through an unsecured manhole cover during a routine early morning shift. The crew the night before had opened it to conduct a cleaning flush, but failed to replace the temporary signage or notify the incoming team in the shift log. It was still dark, and the worker had no reason to expect an open hazard in that location. He dropped nearly 2 meters onto concrete, suffering 2 fractured vertebrae and multiple bruises. Emergency services responded quickly, but the injury sidelined him for months. A post-incident safety audit revealed a recurring pattern. Hazards were frequently discussed verbally at the end of shifts, but rarely written down or logged in any centralized system. Without a paper trail, important risks fell through the cracks, just like that manhole cover. It was a sobering reminder that a missed observation isn't just a communication failure, it can become a life-altering injury. Municipal work is mobile, decentralized, and often reactive. Crews might shift between 5 different locations in a single day. That mobility makes structured observations harder, but even more critical. In Vancouver, a road crew operating a mini excavator ruptured a buried gas line in an alleyway. They'd reviewed the utility locate drawings, but the markings on the pavement had faded from recent rain. One crew member later admitted he had felt unsure, but didn't speak up because we were already behind schedule. Silence is one of the most dangerous things on a public works site. Public interaction adds another unpredictable layer. In New York City, a parks worker trimming hedges in a public square was bitten by an off-leash dog. No signage had been placed to indicate active work, and the dog's owner claimed he didn't know they were working there. The worker received 19 stitches and required a tetanus booster, missing nearly a week of work. Unfortunately, incidents like these aren't rare. According to the U.S. Postal Service, their employees alone reported over 5,300 dog bite incidents in 2022. And while that data doesn't include parks workers, it gives us a clear picture of how frequently public-facing workers encounter aggressive or uncontrolled animals. Groundskeepers, sanitation crews, and utility workers are all at risk when entering parks, yards, or public spaces where dogs may be roaming without restraint. A basic observation, placing high-visibility warning signs, doing a quick visual scan for animals before entering an area, or using sound cues to alert nearby pedestrians, could have changed the outcome. These are small actions, but they create a barrier between a routine task and an avoidable injury. And then there's fatigue. In New Zealand, a street cleaning driver fell asleep at the wheel during an overnight shift. He struck a parked car but wasn't injured. An internal review showed he had worked 6 nights in a row, each one pushing close to 12 hours. The schedule had been approved due to staff shortages, and the worker hadn't wanted to say no. No one had flagged his exhaustion, not even himself. Fatigue observations don't require medical training, they require awareness. The kind of attentiveness that picks up on subtle signs. Slurred speech, slower than usual reactions, frequent yawning, unsteady posture, and a quiet disengagement that replaces normal conversation. It's the coworker who suddenly becomes withdrawn, the one who normally cracks jokes but is silent today, the one who stares off too long, blinks slowly, or nods off for a second at lunch. These aren't just quirks, they're potential warnings. Fatigue doesn't always come with a dramatic collapse. Sometimes it drifts in quietly, hidden under layers of routine, until it compromises safety. Observation is about noticing those changes and caring enough to ask, "Are you okay?" before something goes wrong. Municipal works also face unique equipment risks. In Scotland, a recycling facility technician lost 2 fingers when a conveyor belt jammed. He attempted to clear the blockage without locking out the machine. Observations had been made before about jam-prone areas, but were never turned into a job hazard analysis. In South Africa, a city-employed electrician was hospitalized after a fall from a utility pole. His harness was outdated and had visible fraying. When asked why he hadn't requested a new one, he replied, "I didn't think anyone would listen." Safety observation isn't just about seeing hazards. It's about creating a culture where people believe what they see will be heard. But not every story is grim. In Portland, municipal workers helped develop a peer observation program called Second Eyes. 1 crew member per shift was designated as the unofficial observer, empowered to pause work if something looked unsafe. The idea wasn't to point fingers, but to protect. In its first year, the program reduced lost time injuries by 38%. In Berlin, public works crews were given GoPro cameras to record select high-risk tasks. The footage was later reviewed in safety huddles, not for discipline, but for learning. Crews appreciated seeing their work and discussing improvements as a team. Observation became collaborative. In Halifax, a stormwater maintenance team created a checklist tailored to their unique challenges: confined spaces, gas detection, animal encounters, shifting terrain, and unpredictable weather. Before each job, they conducted a 5-minute scan using the list, walking the area, double-checking gear, and discussing any specific environmental concerns. It started as a routine compliance task, but quickly evolved into something more. As crew members began to internalize the process, they developed a shared language for safety, shorthand terms for common risks, hand signals for silent communication in noisy areas, and a habit of pausing before starting any task. Over time, they found themselves spotting issues instinctively, even without pulling out the checklist. What had started as a tool became a mindset, a culture of awareness reinforced through repetition and teamwork. Observations weren't just about ticking boxes. They were about actively protecting one another. What should we be watching for? Missing cones, outdated PPE, tools that don't get checked, crews skipping pre-job briefings, equipment with recurring faults, workers hesitating before speaking, people working alone in high-risk areas, broken communication radios, ad hoc workarounds that become permanent, near misses that don't get logged, and the positives too. Crews that debrief at the end of the shift, supervisors who actually listen, workers who pause when something feels off, teams that flag each other's blind spots with trust. Municipal works is a job of service, but service doesn't mean sacrifice. These are the people who clear snow, fix lights, manage water, and keep public spaces safe. We owe it to them to make sure their own safety isn't the price of our comfort. The next time you walk past a road crew, a parks team, or a sanitation truck, take a second look. What are they facing? What have they normalized? And how can one observation, from them or from you, change everything? Thank you for watching, and welcome to the Safety Smart HQ community. If you've worked in public services or witnessed a close call on the streets, drop your story in the comments. Your insight might be the one that sticks. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll examine the safety observation challenges in correctional facilities and security work, where duty and danger often intersect. Stay sharp out there.